I have worked at Dell and before coming to this program at MIT, which is a one-year full-time program. I worked in India for sure, and then I also worked in different geographies. I worked in other countries of Asia Pacific. I also ran businesses for Europe and America's market. So in my experience, I have come across many entrepreneurs in IT industry. And Dell being a big company by now, at one point of time, it was also a startup when it started off in 1984 by Michael in his dorm room. I have experienced some of the successful ventures, what they did, what exactly worked for them, what didn't work. So I would say the biggest thing what any entrepreneur should keep in mind, that what problem he or she is trying to solve.
Right.
What exactly that problem in the world he or she has identified, and now that person has got some solution to solve. You may not succeed immediately with your solution, but you have something in your mind and you work on your idea, you build your team, you identify your customers, you look at the companies or end users who would like to buy your products or services, and then in the process you are solving their problems. And for that, they are ready to pay you some money, because that's the economic gain at the end of the day you want to have for your idea. Now, it's not an easy question to answer, but yes, there's a process through which many people have tried to identify their customers. And the simple thing is, in the beginning, that you know what solution you're providing to solve any specific problems. You know specific problem you're going to solve, for which then you have to think customer is ready to pay you money.
Right.
What else you can offer for which customer is ready to pay you money, because that's the decision making. At the end of the day, customer has to decide and buy your services or products from you, and then you continue to build revenue for your business. So when you identify some customers having similar problems, then you start profiling those customers.
Right.
Then you look at which geography you should further expand, and then you can identify more customers. Then you can look at within that geography, if you want to further expand from one segment to another. People generally look at in commercial segment, they would first look at small business, then they would go for mid-size, and then the large corporations. There are companies who focus on consumer segments. So it depends exactly what kind of problem you're trying to solve and what your services and products are all about. Yes, exactly. So that's what entrepreneurs have to keep in their mind, that what value they are going to provide to their customers by offering their products and services. So they would build their products or services at a certain cost. Then they want to make some profit on that, so they would have a price set based on their customers' willingness to pay for that services or products. So when they have to really build their value proposition, they have to keep all these variables in mind, and then they go back to the customers and offer that, hey, I'm going to offer these services or products to you to solve your problems at this price, and this is how we're going to take care of your problems in the future, what you can call after sales support. So all in all, when you provide the complete package, then you look at the customers would see that, hey, this is the complete value proposition what entrepreneur has made to me, and then that would help the customer make a final decision. Yeah, so the sales process, it also starts with how you generate the leads, how you get to know about the customer. Do you already have a database of potential customers, or you take help of some third-party agency who can give you the list of those businesses in the geography who may have requirement for your products and services, or you can do your own lead generation through a small team you can build in the beginning and go ahead with that. Now, with that team, you can start contacting customers. Either you can send your people to go and meet the customers, or call over the phone, or send an email. So there are different ways to contact the customers. After having contacted the customers and customer making decision based on your value proposition, then you look at how you're going to continue to build your relationship so that the customer stays with you for future buying, what you can call recurring purchases from the company. And that's how you would look at your lifelong relationship with customer, and what you call lifetime value of the customer.
Sure.
Now when it comes to how you deliver, it depends what do you have a hardware to sell to the customer? So definitely you need to ship to the customer, and then you have to have a logistic process to work with you so that you know exactly what would be the delivery lead time. If it's a services offering, then you have to also design, are you going to send your engineers to customer side to fix the problem? Like some of the IT services company, they send their teams to go work at a customer site. So you need to have that human capital in your company who can be immediately sent to customer's site and start working as per your agreement. Or you're providing services over the internet. Maybe you're trying to have help desk remotely located, but solving the problems of that customer for their employees. So that can also be done over the internet or over the phone. So it really depends on the nature of your products and services. Right, so you look at both sides of the business, supply and demand side, and then you see that how you really want to work on different components of your value chain, because you have to really make choices that how you're going to create demand in the market. In other words, you have demand in the market for which customers are seen by you as your potential customers. So your marketing, your sales teams working together to create that demand. Then you have your team in the background, which is working on the supply side. So they are working on the procurement, they are working on the manufacturing, whether you manufacture yourself or you get help from third party or outsource manufacturing. If you're in a hardware business, if you're in a services, then you have to again decide whether you hire engineers or services professionals yourself, or you outsource to a third party. So based on that, you have your strength to go deliver your offerings to the customer. When you have looked at the whole thing all together, then you know that, okay, my value chain is going to work in a certain fashion, and then you go to the customer and you deliver. Yeah, it's a very tough question to find answer from a product innovation point of view. Many great people have tried. Sometimes they succeeded, other times they didn't. And what people have advised and what we have seen working, that you start with something and then you keep some experiments going on. You tweak your product a little bit here and there, and you really experiment in the real market, not just going by some research or some interview or focus group discussion. Because what data you get from customers or potential customers in those situations are different from when they have to make a decision to pay you money and buy your products and services. So when you do these real experiences in the market with some tweaking with your product features and pricing, then you would know what's really working for you. And you do lots of experiments in a short time. You can decide, depending on the value of the product, that how long you want to run your experiment. But after that experimentation, you would have a good understanding of the real data, that what has worked in this market, and then you go ahead with what has really worked, and you can do your large scale launch of your product or services, which would be really the way forward for any entrepreneur. So IT can be seen from a very vast scope of work being done by the systems in many companies or even the houses of the end users, that how it can connect different pieces of hardware or devices for you, and the information can flow from one to another. And there have been different phases of IT industry. You have seen that you would have seen earlier, before personal computers came in. We had mainframes, big ones, then personal computers, then mobile device. Now, what you say, internet, how it is working for so many of us. And then we know in the future is all about Internet of Things or cloud computing. So these are different cycles of innovation in IT industry. At the end of the day, it's making things easier for people like you and me, how we live and work and lead our life. So that's all about the role of IT in our life, I would say.